Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
And finally, morning coffee. Let's finally make it. Alrighty, so it's 2025, my first ever blog in my whole life, 26 years old. Here I come. Actually, for this moment I've been waiting for a long time. So my name is Konstantin and I've decided to open up my blog. Actually, let me turn off my dishwasher. Yeah, so I honestly have no single idea what I'm gonna be blogging about or vlogging about, if you say it correctly, but I'm sure it's gonna come in the meanwhile. So my idea is to document every day I wake up, I do my morning routine, and I just go and crunch those freaking job postings every single day until I find a job or I make out of this YouTube my more or less part-time, even full-time job. We'll see. So I've originally come from Ukraine, so you can hear the accent. and I've been living in Canada for almost 2 years. I have traveled and lived in different countries. Even though I was originally born in Ukraine, I have managed to live for the past, I think, more than 10 years, 11 years outside of my country. So it's almost half of my lifetime I've been an immigrant. I've managed to live in different parts of Europe, but I'll talk about it later. My idea is to go with the blog every day, make a challenge, do maybe 30, maybe more vlogs every single day, improve my English, work on my pronunciation, see if somebody, finds this content interesting or not, discuss pretty much every topic that is being bugging my head every single day. And I've been, putting this flow of information to my beautiful wife. I want to make her job or her life a bit easier. That's why I created this thing. So I'll be talking about economics, a little bit of politics. I know it's boring, but that's the world we live in. Geography, maybe even gaming. I don't know. We'll see. But most importantly, I want to talk about the world's order, which have been actually making me nervous in the recent time. I'm a fan of Canadian prepper, and honestly, I've been a little bit paranoid about that. As I originally come from Ukraine, experienced war, and moved out of Europe, by the way, because of this war, because I still somewhere believe or think it can spread out. Who knows? There's a really small percentage, but because I was exposed to that, I already have this bias, and I want to run away from this one single digit percentage of occurrence or a possibility that it can happen. So that's why I'm in Canada. Sure, I'm not really, as you can say, settled here, but I'm trying my best. Currently, I've lost my job for a second time because I'm a professional software engineer, and when I came to Canada, I've been on the West Coast, beautiful place, but then I found a job, worked there for almost a year, got laid off. Me and my fiance at that time, we had to move out. We moved to the East Coast of Canada. Now we're here, and then I found another job. It was not a software engineer, it was a cybersecurity. I realized this is where actually it's a very, very trendy direction in IT. Even though software engineering stays pretty popular, it's being shifted by AI. You have to constantly learn new stuff. You have to learn how to use AI for your work a lot, and you have to become a senior in order to succeed in the software engineering nowadays. That's my belief. You could have a different opinion. Pretty sure everyone has their own story. It depends on the country, it depends on the market, it depends on you personally. For me, it was a hell of a difficult road becoming a mid software engineer, getting laid off once, getting laid off twice, going into the different direction of cybersecurity, and getting laid off for the third time. I know you might think something wrong with me. No, I believe it's something wrong with the market. The current last job that I've been doing, the project has ended. So I'm actually looking into very different perspectives now. I want to look if I can do a little bit of sales, or maybe even start my own little business. Like, I'm trying to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm really looking widely with my eyes wide open into different possibilities. Currently, as you probably saw, I applied for software engineering roles, but then I also applied for sales. So it's very, very spread out for me right now. I actually am waiting for my driver license to get and start driving here, maybe doing some Uber. Yes, Canadian economy is not in the best shape. It's not what we promised as immigrants, but it is what it is. You have to deal with that. You cannot just, you cannot just give up, right? You have to move on. Yeah, you can change your country, sure, that's an option. Not an option for me. I've done it a lot. I think I'm just good where I am right now. So I'll be looking at possibilities of food delivery, taxi driving, maybe I'll crunch on some software engineering projects, we'll see, or even find a full-time sales job. That's actually one of the reasons I'm opening this channel, to practice my speaking and presentation skills so that I'm better as a salesperson, better as a person. And I actually recommend doing everyone that. You could just open up your channel. Sure, maybe there'll be no one watching that, but you'll be doing it for yourself. It's gonna boost your confidence. That's gonna just make you have to have a routine. Because just because with this video, I woke up, cleaned the apartment, went to the gym, washed myself, cooked myself food, ate food. Now it's 1 p.m. Yeah, that's pretty late, but at the same time, that's already better than yesterday. So, cheers for that. So, what I want to talk on this specific video is the current state of our world, specifically Trump's decision to count Canada as a 51st state, which I think is super absurd, but it's a very crazy idea. Why? Because it all started with similar talks in Ukraine and Russia, and it has moved to a deadliest, most bloody war of the 21st and 20th century. Why I'm saying that, you can look up the stats. That's the fastest people have been killed in this span, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is also the biggest amount of people, casualties lost since the Second World War. So why I'm saying that is that I truly believe that there is a chance of this further escalating, even though Canadians and Americans are historically the closest allies. Historically the closest. I think Americans are even closer to Canadians than to British, because there was some history. Yes, I know in 1867, if I'm not mistaken, there was an invasion, there was a war between those countries. Canada has invaded. It didn't really invade, but it burned down the White House. Yes, we're aware of that, but it's been like, how much? It was been like more than 150 years. Sorry for that. So what I want to say is that this is a dangerous time. Like, any joke can grow up to be something more serious, and then it can just transform into the new reality. That happens with everything. You can look around, you can take a look at COVID time, you can look at the remote work, you can look at the Gaza-Israel conflict, Russia-Ukraine conflict. Every single of those things, before it happened, nobody would even talk about it. And if you were about to talk about it, you'll be considered crazy, right? Like, people would just not believe you. They'll think it's just some kind of conspiracy theory. Nobody would pay attention. Then it started happening. People either started joking about it or just talking about it, and became more real. And now it's a reality that we live in. So I'm an opponent of not getting too crazy, but also being very mindful about what's going on in the world right now. And what's going on in the world right now is the fact that if we don't take this little threat seriously, it's gonna grow out to be at least a nationwide conflict. By conflict, I don't specifically mean war, because those two countries are part of NATO. Yes, NATO is a very, like, the Article 5 is a very abstract idea, like you can just help a nation by sending helmets, and that's considered, you know, being a part of protecting the country that was attacked. But what do you do? So like that's a one thing, right? You don't have to be fully involved. Second thing is that what happens if two NATO countries get into the war, right? So it's all speculations at the moment. It's all very far from truth, but we have to be careful about that. And having experience and being exposed to that, and many Ukrainians here pretty sure are worried right now that something like this might start happening between the two closest nations. That's actually the trend I've noticed between many close nations that have borders, specifically land borders. So there are two countries, they live together, they have very similar values, and they are inherently very similar nations because they either are coming from one, let's say, kingdom or country historically, or and then they were separated by an empire, or they were just separate because there was a separatism movement in another part. Like we could take a look at Catalonia, or we could take a look at Portugal and Spain. Like I'm gonna give you so many examples right now, and I think it's gonna blow your mind a little bit. I haven't actually prepared the list of those countries. I think I'm gonna attach them maybe in a video, but what I'm gonna say is that something that comes to my mind right away. So such countries are such as Pakistan, India, Ukraine, Russia, Portugal, Spain, in our example, Canada and United States, China, Taiwan, North Korea, South Korea. A bit different of example, but still on the lines. Everyone there in all those countries that I mentioned are very close to each other. They have relatives living in the nearby countries. They have very shared values. They sometimes have either the same language, or they have a similar language or a dialect. And if you go through the countries that I mentioned, you can actually see that that's the case. And all those countries, and now unfortunately Canada and US, have shared conflicts between each other or misunderstandings historically. That's, I guess you can make an argument that that's the case for actually every land border neighbor, but it gets exacerbated in my own opinion. It gets exacerbated a lot when the two countries they're similar, because the bigger country, like let's say Spain or US, can start claiming, oh, you know, we have Spanish people in Portugal, or we have Americans in Canada, or we just know people who want to join us, and they're gonna start pushing their values and what they think, and it just creates this bubble of information that gets fed up by propagandists or people who are interested into creating this type of movement. And then the normal basic folks like us, we just grab onto this information and we start actually believing that the whole world is just I wouldn't say it's getting crazier or it's getting worse. No, statistically the world is getting safer, the world is getting better. I mean, at least if you look at the last 50 to 100 years, maybe not last 30 years, because if again there is this interesting I keep hearing about it much more often actually, because I've heard about it before. It's called a doomsday clock. So a doomsday clock is like a concept for humanity, kind of like a timer that counts down minutes and seconds until the midnight, and the midnight is when all the people gonna be, you can say, obliterated, all the civilization is gonna fall, something like this. So the scientists in the world, they meet up with each other They start talking, discussing, analyzing all the data, looking at every piece of information they can find. It's happening once a year or once every 1.5 years. And then they change the value on this clock. So the closer clock to the midnight, the worse it is for us. When it goes to the midnight, it means something is happening or starts happening, something bad, like extremely bad. And since I was born in 1998, right? It's almost 30 years ago. Since that time, not a single time, you can look at the history of Doomsday Clock, the arrows have been moved to a bigger value. It's been always decreasing, meaning that the world has started to become more and more dangerous. Even though if you look at the whole century before us until this day, the world have been becoming a more safer place. It becomes safer, but it becomes more complicated. It becomes more complex. I truly believe that we don't see what's gonna happen in the next couple of years with AI, with remote work, with another pandemic, with another war. Like, there are so many unpredictable things, black swans as we call them in the economy. They can change our perception of the world a lot. We might start thinking, oh my god, it's such a dangerous world, and we should maybe not create more children, which I think is an absurd idea. Even though I am myself, I'm still a childless person, not out of my own choice. I would get a child any second. My wife comes home, I'll be like, let's make a child. But I'm not doing that because of the economical reasons, right? I'm not doing that because I lost a job again. I have to look for gigs. I have to fucking survive in this economy. And this economy is getting worse. Like you could see from 2008, it's been growing. And then the COVID hit, it started going downwards for many countries. I think most of the countries except US. So, yeah, we live in cycles, and that's the idea of this channel. I'm gonna be feeding you different types of information, starting from geopolitics, going into the economy, talking about crypto, about programming, and all the kind of stuff that comes to my mind because it's my personal diary, personal journal. And maybe I'll even rename it to Diary of Constantine, or something like this. We'll see. Sometimes I actually feel like as if I was a part of Matrix, right? Like, I like how our consciousness, or the consciousness span, it has started to change more and more and more, and that makes us feel like as if we're controlling this android robot, right? That is like doing stuff everywhere, and you're not present. I truly believe people should start meditating more, but then I don't do it myself because I'm busy. Again, I'm jumping from topic to topic, discovering what I like, discovering what you like if you're there on the other end. And I think I want to finish my thought with, we as society have to really constantly rethink what's our new ideal of this world. We cannot get stuck to the ideas that were even created 10 years ago or 5 years ago. And it's like we constantly have to have debates because of the fast pace of this world. We have been developing so freaking fast. It's like as if we don't have time to stop, sit around and like think a little bit of where we're going, because we have to always change the direction. We always have to adjust it. Before it worked in a way that there was a famous person, he invented something, and then we would do this thing like for a long time. But now one idea comes, another idea comes, somebody else comes, debates this idea. I like this tendency, but we have to be more involved, all of us. So what I think is that first we have to create more children, otherwise we're just all gonna die. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that to childless people, child-free people. Like I'm not pushing them. Like I don't think anyone should drastically change. No, what I think is that everyone should have their own interpretation of the world, but people should start listening to each other. What I truly believe should be one of the fixes to our generation, because our generation might be, actually my generation was the last to experience life without social media, life without a phone in your hand, etc. So I start thinking that it's like the same for like generation without AI. Maybe Gen Alpha have experienced life like very, how do you say, like premature, like very early stages of childhood they've experienced without AI, but mostly their mind is already set up for AI. And I think in order to survive for us as a society, and I truly believe in my words, which happens very rarely, I always question them, but with the pace of AI, as I can see it now, I feel like it's gonna outpace us very soon. Like it's happening almost not every day, but every month you keep hearing about one or the other AI thing, a DeepSeek, a ChatGPT new version, and now we substitute these professions. Mark Zuckerberg says at the Joe Rogan podcast that this year, 2025, we're gonna substitute mid-level software engineers, which is me actually. And you keep seeing this stuff, you can't even have time to process that, right? And that makes you wonder, or at least it should make you wonder, shouldn't we have more people to create more ideas and not let ourselves be fully substituted by big giant corporations, big giant corporations, 2, AI that's being developed by those big corporations, and 3, those rich billionaires who have money, resources, time to develop this and still stay afloat at the top. We need to have more basic folks, the average Joes, that are more aware of the dangers of AI, who are not scared, who are manly enough to stand up, to start fucking learning stuff and start adjusting. By nature, I'm a feminist, right? But I believe there is a radicality to every topic or every question. What I want to say is that of course, I believe women should have all the rights equal to men, same salary, which unfortunately we don't have. There shouldn't be pink tax, etc. But I think specifically my generation, a little bit older, a little bit younger, males have been left aside. And I'm not saying women are to blame. No, definitely not women, or at least not only. It's all the population that has been pushing the new ideas and then radicalizing them. What I mean is that, let me explain myself. Males have masculinity, right? historically, because the masculinity was abused, right? Abused against women, that has become considered a really bad thing. And I agree, there is a toxic masculinity, which I, coming from Eastern Europe, coming from post-Soviet countries, I have experienced a lot. I've been around that. It shaped me like a man. I love it. But I never recommend people getting experience of that. And I hate it, honestly. But there's also a healthy masculinity, which will lack a lot in this society. Many males are becoming shapeless, sitting in their mother's basement, playing video games, watching Pornhub. And I'm not saying you shouldn't watch Pornhub, but you should not only watch Pornhub. You should not substitute the relationships, like future generations, kids, and just partnership with your woman or with your man. Doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. The thing is, you should be out there in the world, not sitting down there in the basement and consuming the content. Which I'm not saying I'm not doing. Like, I'm always being pushed aside in every topic. And I'm myself working on that. But I think I'm slowly making progress every day. And the fact that I'm starting this now, it's such a big thing for me. Like, honestly, there's been much more things I've done in the life that are much harder. But this specific thing is very hard for me, and I finally got this braveness and the confidence to do that, which is cool, which is awesome for me personally. But what I think is that you have to do it step by step. You have to start from small and just go to the gym, eat healthy. You don't have to eat 100% healthy. Just try to have the majority of your food natural. It shouldn't be expensive, it shouldn't be eco. Eco is bullshit, I think. Well, I don't say all the eco is bullshit. Anyways, I've touched so many, maybe even controversial topics, but I love this idea that I can just push it to the world, to the cloud, and see, maybe people not gonna react, maybe there's gonna be 0 views, or maybe there's gonna be like some discussion, debates. I love, because this is the democracy. This is how we should talk about things, discuss things. So going back to the masculinity, there should be more of healthy masculinity around. We need men to move the progress, and we need more women equally, but men are being lacking behind, and that's a problem. You could see a shift in the political sphere. For example, Trump started having a big amount of voters who are males in their 30s, 20s, and that's surprising because males in their 30s and 20s are, I would say, very liberal, and I would say much more feminine than their previous generations. And the thing is, that contradicts to the Trump ideology, right? And to the Trump party and Republican, especially his ideas and what he believes in. And that trend shows us that there's no one to stand up for a man, that they even go to such person as Trump, who isn't protecting their interests. He's just thinking about his interests and how to make America great. He's not thinking lots about people, and especially young males, but they still go and vote for him. And the reason is that they're left aside. And I think this is a big problem in our society. We don't have enough men to earn more money, to open up businesses, to raise kids. That's a very important one, because you don't need to have all the males opening up businesses and earning like six-figure salaries. Even though six-figure salary in the Western world is becoming a norm, like an average, you need to have that, right, to have a child. That is actually sick. But at the same time, that's just for, like, how do you say, that's just for lucky people, lucky males, or males who have been working a lot, right? What's most important is that we need males to raise kids, and then have the percentage of males who actually do bigger contribution to this world, for this percentage to be, even if it stays the same, the amount grows, right? So that's the idea for today. I think I've had enough thoughts spread out into this video. I don't want to get all boring and just throwing everywhere my thoughts. I also need some time to collect them, and I just wish people learn about stuff, read about stuff, research more, because that's the way to stay agile, stay flexible, and that's gonna be it. So I want to end up at the note that we all should strive to be better ourselves, to have a healthy masculinity, femininity in both genders. Most importantly, female and male both should have those traits. But we should have not only one trait but both, and there should be a balance, there should be a healthy way of expressing it, healthy way of interpreting it. So I want you all to stay healthy, to stay focused on your dreams, and just be more proactive. Stay true to yourself. And I hope to record more videos like this. There's been like so many thoughts, and I don't know who's gonna like this kind of content, but I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some people, or at least it's gonna be me rewatching it years later, and I'll just thank myself that I did it. All the best. Cheers.